were present. Cabinet ministers, the deputies, assistants, state-owned enterprises, heads of autonomous agencies and public corporations were all present. One of the major things that happened there, in addition to setting up the National Steering Committee, was to receive different forms of updates on what had been happening in the government. Particularly so, we've been executing the first 100 days of the government. So we had to receive updates. Some of the updates I will just run through. Of course, the first one was the whole concept of no car being stuck in the mud. A concept that the president is very committed to. The Minister of Public Works briefed the retreat as to what has obtained, and as a cabinet we were pleased with the information that was provided to us by the sectorial head. We also received update as to what is happening in the water sector, and we're interested to know, after many years of not being able to have pipe-borne water in the city center of our capital, the Liberia Water and Sewer Corporation was able to update that retreat that we have restored pipe-borne water to the city of Monrovia. There are some presentation of videos, and you will see how citizens are responding to just having water, things that should be normal. Because no one lives without water, and you think water is something that everybody should have access to. Unfortunately, some of our people right in the middle of the capital of our country didn't have that for years. And the LWSC was able to make that progress. We also received updates on what is happening with electricity. The key point, or the key takeaway, is that before the aspiration of the tenure of President Bouaka, the electricity sector has said we'll have approximately 148 megawatt of hydroelectricity. Right now, you know we're supposed to have 88, which is the capacity of Mount Coffee. We hardly got 88 coming out of it because of different issues. So to be working towards having 148 just from hydro alone, not including the West African Power Pool, the CLSG, and other sources of electricity, is something that we look forward to. And we got that briefing also from the electricity sector. One major issue that everybody been talking about is something about F-moving equipment. President Bouaka has a deep passion to solve our perennial road problem. Liberia will shortly turn 177, if I'm not mistaken. All of us should ask ourselves some hard questions. Small country. Look around us, they are very huge and big countries. Not rich like us. Very small country for 177 years. Not only that we have most of our roads not being accessible and passable, not only that we've not been able to connect the capitals of the 15 political subdivisions of the country with roads, paved roads, but we've had this issue of not even being able to maintain the gravel road, as we would call them, connecting all of our political subdivisions. We've seen appalling pictures in years past of vehicles being stuck, sometimes for weeks, if not days. We've seen women, children, and the elderly traveling into those places being forced to sleep on exposed and risky highways. So if there's one legacy that President Bouaka intends to leave when his term is over, that legacy will be that our road situation will be better than what it is. There are many ways to do it. There's already a commitment, and the Public Works Minister made a decent presentation to that effect, that we may be able to connect all of our county capitals with paved roads. But there are still roads all across the country that may not be paved. But we have an obligation to ensure that those roads that will not be paved are accessible. Many of you in this room are very young people. There's something that used to happen in the past, and people like those of us with the age I have will know that all of our roads were accessible because there was this concept of having what we call maintenance zones across our counties. So there was no special time to maintain roads. It's an everyday thing. So during those eras, when we were coming out, we didn't hear all these laws about cars being stopped, people not being able to move from place to place, because this system was in place. All of that collapsed as a result of the war. And so we're seeing the pictures that have come on when the rains are here. What happened then? Because President Walker belongs to that order of generational people, is what he intends to replicate during this pre-war period, so that we have a nationwide program or strategy that will ensure that our roads are passable. So as a result of that, we're having different conversations by the Minister of State before portfolio concerning works in progress to have earth-moving equipments that will be deployed across the 15 political subdivisions. Such made a presentation that didn't require any much time to give an update on this concept of making sure that we have these equipments available. There was no decision announced. The government of Liberia that I speak for did not announce a decision about what has happened with this concept of having earth-moving equipment. Notwithstanding the fact that there was this video that shows some of the earth-moving equipment that are being and then after that, there's a firestorm. Everyone is talking. People are criticizing. Some are commending. And so at one point you are constrained to say, well, ask yourself, what is happening? Especially when you see people from other branches of government. Not their leadership, trusting, but individuals. I guess many of them acting on their own behalf and not as representatives of that branch of government. Talking about what should happen, what should not happen. What has come to you? That is serving as the basis of you talking about what's supposed to happen and what is supposed to happen. What is happening? What do you know has been announced by the government? Under the laws of Liberia, the executive branch of government, which is headed by the president, negotiates and secures agreement for the country. There is a process. There's no restraint as to how you do that engagement. With regard to the desire to have yellow machines, as some people call it, the earth-moving equipment, the scenario will be different as to how you make the legal requirement, depending on what you finally agree on. That's what I talk about, what has been announced. Because in the end, when you have reached a conclusion of what you know you want to do, there will be a formal announcement. It is that formal announcement I thought people should be waiting for, that people should be ready to react to. You cannot be reacting to a presentation or an update or a briefing in an assembly of carefully associated individuals. What decisions have been taken that you responding to our accident? So we are fully aware as the executive of all of the lawful requirements that are associated with that power that we have to negotiate agreement on behalf of the government. We know there are lawful requirements that we must meet. And when we reach the point at which those decisions are taken, it will be done consistent with those lawful requirements. One of the critical pillars of the arrest agenda is the rule of law. So the president is very conscious of the fact that the rule of law should prevail. And so if the law says the executive can do this, but before you reach a decision, this other branch of government should do that, that's exactly what will happen. Have we reached there? No. So nothing is concluded or consummated as an agreement. As we basically receive updates from various sectors, including the one we received regarding the video that everybody ran around, which is an effort that, when brought to fruition, will help us to resolve the perennial road problem. But let me say to you, the process regarding how we get the equipment we need will be followed, will be communicated when it's consummated. There's one thing we want to assure. We will secure, following all of the legal processes that are required, moving equipment. That could be the 2A5 that has been mentioned, or even more than that. Because the intent is to have them deployed when we do so, consistent with the law, all across our 15 political subdivisions, by re-establishing those maintenance zones. And what that will do is that day in, day out, in the night, in the morning, in the afternoon, during the rainy season, during the dry season, road work will go on. Benefit our people. We should feel sorry for them. Many of us live in Monrovia, we're okay. Don't we see that people can hardly move from one point to another when the rains come? So, even a concept to solve that problem is leading to a firestorm. What is the storm about? What has been announced that we're complaining about? There are so many options that can be used for the securing of those machines when the time comes. And I want to keep emphasizing. I'll give you an example. The law says anything you do that crosses 10 million requires legislative action. So assuming whatever the final action would be to secure those equipment, if it falls in a category where we have to go to the legislature for a ratification, we'll do so before we consummate. Because when you know that process, then nothing will happen. So just whatever the law calls for is what we do. So what I would say, hold on, when we announce to you a formal decision as to the procuring of the earth-moving equipment, and that which we will announce is inconsistent with the law, then you do your talking. I don't think we can really solve everything. One of the senators, who's my very good friend, was on Facebook and said, I'm here now because I contacted two people I know very well. I contacted Minister Pia. I contacted Minister Brisbane. I didn't hear from them, so I'm coming to this place very well. And I didn't believe that was fair. We got to be very fair to each other. This person in question sent me a messenger text message. Minister, what is the issue with these moving equipment? I replied to the person, call me. Because it's a serious governmental matter that we should not be discussing on Facebook Messenger. And the person did not call. After a period of time, I saw the message from the person say, oh, I called you 3 times and you didn't pay. And I told the person, if you are calling a number other than this, then that phone you're trying to reach was off. And I sent the person a number that I was reachable on. The person did not call, but went to social media. So if we have those back and back interaction, how do you say I try to get out to the person, I didn't get a person? You come to me and say, call me through this video. Because if you message me on Facebook Messenger, you didn't expect me to discuss government matter on Facebook Messenger. So I gave you an easy power, easy call me, which didn't happen. Then when you go to social media and call my name and say, I tried to read the point and didn't get back to me, that's not fair. You treat each other with respect. Especially if we belong to different branches of the government. Just as you demand respect, we too. And when you proceed like that, it's all about politics. Everything you see happening. Some people who no communication the way they know anything that is mutual information will be running behind everybody, causing people whenever somebody criticize us. I will not do that. And I don't believe necessarily that we got to be running behind everything we see on social media and responding. I'm not the work of a Minister of Information. Our duty is to communicate what we're doing. And not as a reactionary force, responding to everything. Sometimes we listen to what people say. And for those who do so in good faith, and in the interest of the country, we listen to you. And if there's sense in some of the things you say, we take it, we make use of it. We don't have a broadcasting person said they were using it. But when we come and we have information to give the public, we come to give those information. Those of you who watch things that happen in other countries, I was on one of the talk shows recently, and the host maybe believing that if you are aggressive, that means you're a good journalist. You need to be aggressive. When guests come on your show, is to have honest conversation. And you'll be asking all kind of questions. You say, because the man has the information, so know everything. When the person tells you, say this wrong, I don't have the information, I'll get back to you on it. Oh, the man's going to be this information, you know it when you know. In the greatest country on earth, the United States of America, the press secretary, they don't have information minister, speaks for the government. But the press secretary does not know everything. That's the reason why when critical things are happening sector by sector, you have a smart woman who is the press secretary at the Department of Defense. When all the defense-related and security issues are happening, he addressed them. At the Department of Treasury, the same thing. What have we done to replicate that? That's why we say one government, one platform. Finance minister will come here and talk finance administration, Commerce will come here and talk commerce team. So we bring all the people right here because there cannot be an assumption that the Minister of Information knows everything. So when something is going on, we seek the information before we come to you. We're not running race. There are some people who believe that because everybody were talking about the movie equipment, we're supposed to talk about it the same day. Even if we didn't have information, we just talk about it because we Minister of Information. So, in short, we will get moving equipment for our roads. But the processes that are needed for the acquisition are still in the works. And as we do so, we will respect all of the dictates of the law as is required. We will not do so in an unlawful way. Our quest to solve a problem to our road situation will be achieved, but not in an illegal way. So all of those who are concerned, especially those from the other branches of government, please take your break until we bring to you a decision. And if that decision is in violation of any law, then you can start your whatever it is. But as it is, it's difficult to understand what many of you are responding to. That's why it looks like. There is this issue about the former Vice President of the Republic, Madam Joel Howard Taylor, who has announced that she's afraid of her security because something took place. We reached out to the appropriate authorities and we've been informed that the Liberian National Police is investigating the situation and they will be able to determine what has happened. But before the incident, I think the incident happened on a Friday. On a Wednesday before the incident, the president has instructed a top security official to pay a courtesy visit to both the former president, President William, and the former vice president, Joel Howard Taylor. And the intent of that authorization from the president was for the security official to be able to determine how our two former leaders are faring, and if they have any concerns about their security and other issues, so that they could share with them, but also to assure them that as very important people, as people call them, maybe very, very important people with ERP, that the government wanted to reassure them of protection, to ensure that as former officials, former leaders, that they are safe in their own country, because that is an obligation any government should have to the citizens, particularly former leaders. So that courtesy visit was made prior to this incident involving the former vice president. And that incident, as I said, is being investigated by the police, and when they have a finding that the public should know, we'll let the public know. And the final thing I just wanted to summarize before I leave, since I wasn't here, because I joined the president, is to just in a summary form say some of the things that happened. Of course, the president went for the U.S. Africa Business Summit, which was good for our country. The business summit was not a place that he could take better money, because I was having a chat with one journalist and he was asking about the timetables. I said, what did we bring back? My question was, do we understand what a business summit is? It's a forum where governments are linked directly to business actors. It's like a market ground. So each of the people participating selling their market sell your country to the business people, and most of them high-level U.S. business institutions. Sell your country. Tell them why your country should be a place of interest for them to do business. That's what the summit was about. It was not about people going there and that's they coming by, they coming with better money. Or somebody reviewing the spot and places and tomorrow I'm in Liberia. So one of the things that happened there was that at least the president was able to promise a new day for Liberian investors, with a commitment of creating an enabling environment to address all of the challenges like a monomal business, including corruption. There was a special section called Invest in Liberia program that took place there, spearheaded by Riva. That section brought together almost all of the major actors in sectors of mining, agriculture, commerce, etc. from the U.S. The Chamber of Commerce and the Corporate Council of Africa that also participated, offered to engage their membership in Liberia. And that the next step would be that a trade and investment mission will be made to Liberia. We're looking forward to that. At that summit, the U.S. government actually demonstrated strong support for the future of Liberia under the leadership of President Walker. And so in that regard, the Millennium Challenge Corporation, MCC, is actively considering a second compact. Maybe many of us don't know what compact is. Second compact because Liberia got her first compact during the period of President Seli. That first compact gave the country 257 million. That's how we were able to build the hardware. The second compact will give us between 400 to 500 million. A lot of money that will solve some of our real problems. And the FCC is actively considering that second compact. And if history is anything to guide us, that will bring in millions. In grant. When the FCC gave you money, it's not a loan, and not something you pay by, it's grant, which means free money that somebody giving you gift. And that could be a real magnet for crowding in U.S. investors to Liberia. But in addition, the UL Development Finance Corporation, they call it the FDC, and that is the development finance institution of the U.S. government. They are exploring the potential of investment opportunity in the energy and agriculture sector. The DFC can provide concessional financing and even equity for projects that they want to. And throughout the entire history of our country, they have yet to invest in Liberia. So when they make good what they said they will do, it will be their first intervention in Liberia, and that will be a kind of legacy or trademark for the Bouakai administration. No direct line. One of the things that he did in Atlanta, where Delta has the airport, was to engage them and we begin to look at the possibility of Delta resuming flight to Liberia. We know they were here before. So they start coming. So President Bouakai now is reaching out because he believes it's going to be a good thing to have Delta coming back here and having flights from here to the United States. It will help us to solve some of the problems. Georgia Tech, and those who know about Georgia Tech, strong ranking American institution. President Benton then about possibility of training some of our people. And after we returned, I think just 2 days ago, it was announced that they are providing scholarship opportunity for some of our people to do technology IT at the master level. But for some reason, the beginning process, it will be online. The world is evolving, so online study as important as people who sit in the classroom. What is important is that you should learn well, and you should have a credential, and you should be competent to handle the credential. So they're also going to be doing that, which is good for our country. Those of you who have interest in the technological field, it's an opportunity for you. Too many of us are going to the colleges and doing political science, management, accounting, and we're forgetting the scientific world. This intervention can help us to make some real strides in developing the minds of our young citizens in ways that are marketable all across the world, not just in Liberia. So these are the issues I wanted to touch on. You will have the opportunity to ask follow-up questions when the time comes. But I just wanted to now take this time to invite to this podium my colleague, Patrick Woolsey, who heads the RRRC, to make the presentation.
Man, you can continue me. Yeah, maybe I have to do myself.
I'm happy to be Minister of Information. And I want to say a big thank you to the Minister for allowing us to use your platform to speak to our people at home and abroad. First of all, I want to say a big thank you to our President for allowing us and give us the opportunity to serve as the court of service. On behalf of my deputies, we are honored to the task forward. They will stop our board because for the 4 days I've been busy giving engaging our people. So people stop our work. Now, why are we here? We're here because today marks the 5th day we receive and work with and for our people, the Malaysian our brothers and sisters who have returned from Ghana. So we have come as a family to inform you out there to get a good understanding about the current situation in Ghana based on the tax given to us and what is the current status. For to get a good picture of what happened in Ghana is to look at the history of the situation at the Bujumbura camp. When you go back into history, you know what we call the boat challenge. The boat challenge, and then in Ghana, a good number of our brothers and sisters found their way to the camp called the Bujumbura camp. Today, after 30 years of engagements with 0.3 group of people, one group of people are Liberians in Ghana who said they cannot come back home because the situation that took them from Liberia to Ghana still exists. So they cannot come back home. So all the UN server mandate will have camp, will have repatriation, and the last phase is called durable solutions. The durable solution is the first way an individual will say, I cannot go back home, I cannot come, I need take control of asylum. And after a long period of time, you'll be re-profiled and you have a conversation with UNHCR to make a final decision. That's the last option for you. At that point in time, you'll be honored to be profiled and processed to come back home as the last option called voluntary repatriation. If you stay in sense that the conditions that are taken from our host country still exist, you're not forced to come back home. The second option you have is called local integration. Under local integration is wherein the host country, Ghana, will say we accept you as a refugee who will live with us on 2 conditions. Either you become a resident holder or a citizen. And they give you paper to live there as long as you live in Ghana. Or you stay and naturalize in Ghana. That group are called local integration families. The third group of people we're referring to are those who say, we call them family reunion program. Your brothers and sisters, your brother call you and say, oh, John Brown, come Ghana, come Ivory Coast, go Guinea, go Sierra Leone. We'll send for you. It's called the USA Family Reunion Program. They get P1, children sleep for pa and man. P2, brothers sleep for wife, sisters and parents. And P3, parents sleep for children. So the programs do exist in Ghana. P1, P2, Family Reunion Program, the Resettlement Program, and the Local Education Program. After 30 years, the US keep what called the cessation clause to say that the conditions that led you to come to Ghana do not exist. So you have an option to come home or go back, or you stay and live in our country. And this is the final decision from the UNHCR. Good number of our brothers, 40,000 plus minors, were repatriated by the UNHCR. Good number that came and they went back. Those who went back to Ghana are not refugees. They went back to Ghana for 2 reasons in search of better living. So they are referred to as economic migrants. The second batch of people are those who say, okay, I don't want to live in Liberia, but I'll be integrated in Ghana. But since I started living in the Bujumbura camp, it's about time I reside in the Bujumbura camp. The group are local integration family living in the camp. Now, all the composition people do exist in the camp, and we have almost close to 30,000 still around the area, in the camp and surroundings. The land situation in Ghana and Liberia, the families and the traditional people own the land in Ghana. So as a government, you engage the families and the traditional people for land. Under the arrangement of former President Jerry Williams, the arrangement was made that they went and requested for the land from the traditional people to enable us receive our brothers and sisters on board challenge. And they were accepted to make the camp. After all these years, the people said, well, we need our land back. And unfortunately for us, our current the government of Ghana, they're going to elections. So you know what it means for the traditional people to reach both traditional people behind you as a government, one or land. So they are also challenged, facing them also. They put out a timeline to have their land back, and they insisted to have their land. That process started sometime last year. On the last administration, visit was made to Ghana. They have a conversation with the Ghanaian government, and they agreed to profile our people. 1,539 Liberians were profiled. And we asked that this year, we will bring them back home. As a result of the transition coming up in our government, the traditional leader keep on insisting that it's about time they take possession of the land. And because there was a little bit of delay, the first one wait for the court and sort of move into the camp to bring down the houses to clean the land. The government is a government that's responsible and is concerned for human rights violation of people at home and abroad. Quickly organized a quick team, and the Minister of Foreign Affairs, and we made a visit in Ghana to go and negotiate. All efforts are made by the Liberian government to ensure that we extend the time to give up not only plan logistics to bring back our people from Ghana. The Ghanaian government and our government agreed after all diplomatic arrangements that by the end of May 31st, all Liberians will leave the camp. So, this is what I write down. The case law, they are in the Liberians in question, they are from the 15 counties. So, their brothers and sisters from the 15 counties are in Ghana, Kutubuaka. Our team head of Monrovia and Mr. Jerry Amma made a visit to start to create awareness while we are on the ground trying to identify the sites and set up the structure to receive them. During the process, we also discovered that those who thought our job took it serious but started to break down their houses. So all of our breaking into Bahamas have affected. We are also at risk. When the cost come back home, so the number increased from 1,539 of our profile last year to 4,232. And all the people must come back home by the end of one day, April 31st. So as a government, we said, well, let's start the process. We start bringing back our people, and then we're going to negotiate with the government of Ghana to give a little bit of time to make sure that we bring back our people. Under migration law, they talk about safety and dignity. The government of Ghana has signed and ratified those international instruments. The IOM near Liberia is aware, the UNHCR, the one UN, they are also aware. So, at the material level, we are also engaging to ensure that what we can do to support the process. Once a government, we wipe our stomach, we watch our back. So, this process that has started to explain to us what transpired in Ghana, and I will pick up and then what I've had up to date, and with the blessing of the minister, we'll ensure that we have a bus to carry all of you people to Ghana or one to carry and go and interact with the people. We want to bring back home the first batch of people, 717 saved them in Liberia. I'll call my deputy who will give you a little bit of insight on what transpired in Ghana.
So folks, that was the voice of the head of the LRRC, Mr. Patrick Wozie, giving an update about 700 plus Liberians who were repatriated from the Bujumbura refugee camp and now in Liberia, Bon County. And so we'll now listen to his immediate deputy.
In the Republic of Ghana, and how the entire repatriation exercise has been proceeding up to date. Like the Honorable ED explained, on the 6th to 11th of April, the Deputy Minister for Foreign Affairs and myself headed a delegation to Ghana to negotiate with the Ghanaian government to extend the time of the repatriation process of Liberians who were living in the Bujumbura camp as former Liberian refugees, and those who were locally integrated into the Ghanaian society but did not have the opportunity to make life. We returned back to Monrovia, briefed the Director and the Minister of Foreign Affairs. The Minister in turn briefed the President, and we were asked as an institution to work together to bring back Liberians in Ghana between the 1st to the 30th of May. While we were making preparations, we got information that the Ghanaian government, again, the local chief, the Goma Feta Traditional Council, had gone ahead to start demolishing the camp. So the ED and the Foreign Minister, along with the Board of Ambassadors of the LRRC, took it seriously, and we began to engage all sides so that they will give us some time to be able to bring the people back. The government of Liberia made available funding that enabled us, as of the 12th of May, the Honorable Deputy Minister, Councillor Jenny Aman, and myself, Deputy Director for Operation, flew into Ghana with some of our team members, and then we started the process. Now, what is the process? In 2022, a rigorous registration process was put in place by both the Ghana Refugee Board, the Liberia Refugee Program or Agency, the UNHCR and IOM to register Liberians who were voluntarily willing to come back to Liberia. So through that process, they registered 1,539 persons, women, children, the elderly, and so forth. So now we, as a new government coming into play, had that registration, that manifest with us. And so we couldn't have reinvented the wheel, so we decided to start with that particular list that the whole government had used. So we went in, and then the list that we had was broadcasted, and all Liberians who had previously registered were asked to come at a registration center to verify their names, take their photograph, and do what we call emergency travel certificate, ETC. Immigration were there, and they were registering and providing this emergency travel document to those Liberians that have been verified on the list to come back to Liberia. The registration went on until we ended the registration on the 20th of May. Now, there were so many Liberians who wanted to come home, but now we had to repatriate these people in phases so that we learn lessons along the way and see how we improve if we made some mistakes along the way. So the first 770 persons agreed between us, LRRC, the Minister of Foreign Affairs and Internal Affairs, the Minister of Finance, and the Liberian and the legislature, that the 770 will be the first batch we will bring. We will bring them to Liberia, and then they will be at the transit 2 long trucks where all their luggages were put on board. Mind you, there were 770 persons. All of them had to go through the first, because the 21st, the buses departed Accra for Liberia. We had to forego search capacity to search loads of 700